Heavenly Father, we thank you for today. We thank you for your love, your grace, and mercy for each of us. We place this meeting into your hands that you would lead us, giving us guidance, wisdom to discuss and understand all the agenda items so we can make decisions for the betterment of Pearsall ISD. Continue to protect our students, staff, and community, lifting and directing our district forward. We thank you for everyone that is here at every capacity, especially our youth. We give you all the praise and glory. We pray this in your name, Christ Jesus. Amen.
Next, we'll go to item number 3 for the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'd like to ask some of the, I'd like to come up and lead with the Pledge of Allegiance. Come on, kids. There's the flag, okay? Face the flag, okay? You ready? Here come a couple more. All right, y'all ready? All right, y'all lead. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next, we'll go to item 4 for the public comment, ma'am. Do we have anybody signed up?
We have two, Tara Moreno and Paula Manzanat.
Okay. Do we have the notes for that?
Give them the directions. Instructions.
And I just counted, so,
Share.
yeah, so we don't have to.
I'll share right here. I'll share right here.
Here you go.
All right, at this time, I'm just going to read the quick notice on the 3 minutes that are added. No presentation shall exceed 3 minutes per agenda item except for persons requiring the use of the translator. Any speaker who requires the use of a translator will be allowed a maximum of 6 minutes per agenda item. Complaints and concerns for which other resolution channels are provided shall be directed through those channels. This section of the meeting is reserved for public participation. Please keep your comments civil and courteous. Please also avoid using profanity and refrain from making personal attacks on others during opportunity to speak. Finally, we ask that you not discuss students who are not your children. Any violation of these rules can cause the board president to stop the speaker's address. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tara Moreno. I am the TFP president. The packets I gave y'all today, we would just like to show you a few of the events that we've been able to have with the support of our parents, teachers, and the community. None of the events would be successful without the support of those who work hand in hand with us to make these events successful. We were able to throw a winter formal, which was a huge success after having to take a break a year because of sickness outbreaks last year with the flu and all of that. We got to see a lot of the smiling faces from our students and as well from our teachers from our campus. We had every grade level involved one way or another, whether it was decorating, having a booth, dressing up. We had elves. The pictures are on the packet. It was a great turnout. PTO, along with Firehouse Nutrition, were able to spread joy to 19 kids from our little map tree, from her donations alone, and partnering up with PTO, being able to make it happen. We were able to get 19 gifts out to some of our students at our school from our little map tree. It was a great experience to witness, to see such a great donation to our school, because it's always good to see the Pearsall community coming in with their school, working hand in hand for our students. At the start of the school, we were able to offer a sweet refreshment from G's Lemonade. It definitely hit the spot. We were able to get it to everybody, which was cafeteria staff, the custodians, paras, teachers, the principals. Everybody was able to be included to have a sweet refreshment. And it was a great turnout, and it was a really good way to boost morale for the first week of school. So it was great. We hosted our inaugural color run. That event was greeted with open arms. We had to work with the city in order to have the event run. We had it at the sports complex, and it was amazing. It was a great turnout. We had PD show up and help support and watch the event go on. We had a lot of the local businesses that ran the color stations for the color run. It was a great opportunity to have, and it was honestly so much fun, worth the planning and having to figure out how all of that went. So it was great. Also included, we were able to have a Maverick Spirit Store, which helped showcase a few of our students from all grade levels classes. From PPCD all the way to second grade, we were able to include tattoos, the boomsticks, just to show the parents and our school and the students what we have to offer. When you can see what you're getting, you know, okay, I'm willing to send my kid to buy something from school. We hope this can show you just a little bit about what TFE PTO brings to our campus. This isn't even the full list of everything that we have done. The list could go on and on. We host a fall fest. We do give backs to the teachers randomly, to the paras. It's all in good fun whenever we can give back to not just our students, but our teachers as well. It helps carry on throughout the whole school year. Attached, if you have any questions, I was able to get a card, and that is a way to get a hold of me, our TFE PTO email, and I also attached my phone number on it. I would like to conclude if I have the time. I think I do. Do I have a little bit of time?
Your time is up, but you may, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. I would just like to include, a little bit does go a long way with communication. It starts from the top with all of y'all, which this year I have seen a great difference compared to all the other years before. But for it to work for us parents as well, to work hand in hand with our principals and our school, I know it would be much appreciated when other bigger events go on with our bigger kids. We would like to know, I know it's hard to be like pleasing everybody, but a little bit goes a long way with communication. So I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ms. Manzanares?
I didn't have a chance to stay for a while. Yes, ma'am, please. Good. Okay, my name's Paula Manzanares. Back in March 23rd, I was assaulted, and it was addressed by one of your employees at the time. Her name is Nancy Ann Reyes.
I'm sorry, ma'am, but you cannot use people's names.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. This is on
You
there.
cannot.
Okay, so I was assaulted.
You cannot use any names.
Okay, so I was assaulted by an employee. She was terminated. They found enough evidence after her arrest to terminate her. She went to court. This is the documentation. And she was rehired shortly after her plea, and she got deferred adjudication. So deferred adjudication means that she's on probation for 6 months. I have an issue with her being rehired. I think that this charge drops after 6 months. At that time, she should have been considered to be rehired, but at this time, I don't think it's right. I addressed it to HR, I addressed it to Dr. Rod, and I haven't heard back from anybody as far as anything. So I don't know what the protocol is. I mean, a phone call would be nice to tell me it's been addressed. I can't tell you the outcome of it, but it's been addressed. My suggestion is, I don't know what happened to the assistant superintendent, but maybe we need an assistant back to help address some of these issues in a timely manner. And all I ask is for her to review this documentation and look into it and see what y'all do about it.
Okay, ma'am.
My last thing is that other people that have worked for the school district have been terminated for either family violence, assault, DWIs, etc. There should be no exception for someone that's been on the same boat. And that's all I gotta say.
Very good.
All right?
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to item 5 for the recognition, and we'll go to item A, Pearsall ISD Board Trustees. Dr.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. So every year, the month of January is recognized across our state of Texas as for school districts as School Board Appreciation Month. And so I'm going to read you a little summary here, and I'm going to read you a proclamation from our Texas State Governor Greg Abbott that truly supports our school board members as well in public education. So we have January is recognized as School Board Appreciation Month. Pearsall ISD is celebrating its trustees is recognizing its trustees for their dedication and commitment to the district and its students. With the theme Leadership for Tomorrow's Texas, Pearsall ISD celebrations will spotlight the essential role school board members play in guiding the future of our students and our education for all students, pre-K through 12. This month-long observation is an opportunity for our members of our community to strengthen their understanding of the crucial role that our board members play in making a difference in public education and representing our students and representing y'all, the community as well. School board members belong to the largest group of elected officials in the state of Texas who provide leadership and governance so that all schools in Texas can focus on educating the 5.5 million students in Texas in their care. School trustees voluntarily, this is volunteer work up here, y'all. They tackle the hard job of governing school districts and do so in a manner that shows what it means to be unwavering in their commitment to the school children they serve. While board members come from different backgrounds and live different lives, they collectively come together with a common goal to make a difference in the lives of kids. To acknowledge the work that school trustees have, our Texas State Governor Greg Abbott has issued a proclamation designating the month of January as School Board Recognition Month. He states, through the ages, each generation has been called upon to strengthen our foundation and prepare the way for others. The spirit is especially evident in the education of our children, for it is through a quality education that we place students firmly on the path to a lifetime of excellence and achievement. Ensuring a quality education is the work of many, and school board members are a vital component of this success. These local leaders use their time, energy, and knowledge to set and review budgets, oversee the management of Texas public and charter schools, and ensure that students receive the best education possible. School board members play a vital role in promoting a lifelong love of learning for our next generation of students by collaborating with teachers, with parents, community members, everyone, to make a big difference in the life of kids. They will continue to play a key role as we strive for educational excellence in the Lone Star State, Texas. Each year, the month of January is set aside to honor school boards' many contributions to recognize their commitment to education. At this time, I encourage all Texans to acknowledge the more than 7,000 school board members whose service represents the best of our great state. Therefore, I, Governor Greg Abbott, do hereby proclaim January 25th to be School Board Appreciation Month. We have here with us tonight our school board members. I'm going to highlight them before we proceed, right? We have our board president, Mr. Marco Reyes. This gentleman has served for Pearsall ISD as a board of trustees for 14 years. That's over a decade of service. He is currently an environmental specialist with San Miguel Electric. So he commutes pretty far to work every day, but yet he still makes time to make every board meeting. Typically, our board meetings are between 16 to 20 board meetings per year, which is pretty critical, on Wednesdays mostly. Whether we have special board meetings, regular board meetings, or budget workshops, they're all here for the most part, trying to make a difference in the lives of our students and staff. He also serves as a CCD instructor. He's been doing it for many years, giving back to our kids, serving as a role model, trying to support for the religious aspect of life as well. So we appreciate his service as well quite a bit for what he's done over the many years. To my right, we have our vice president, Mr. Matthew Aguilar, a former high school graduate as well, Pearsall High School. He's currently serving a position he's actually almost done with currently serving his first term. I believe he has one more year. He is a technology director. He highly believes in education as well, serving as the technology director for the Dilley Independent School District as well. He also volunteers his time. We have a picture of this young man here serving as a DJ for our students at TFE. So anytime that we call upon him to help, in whatever way we need his help, he's always here to help. Always smiling, taking pictures, trying to make a difference, trying to be part of our school district as well. We thank him for his service. We have our board secretary, Ms. Mari Benavides. Ms. Mari Benavides is actually in her second term as board member. So she has a total, I believe, of now 4 years total. Wow. As a board of trustees. She is self-driven, self-motivated, and self-employed, having an own business insurance agency, Benavides Insurance Agency, which is very nice. I think I'm going to look into myself going to in the very near future, y'all, as well. Okay, so we thank her for her service. To our left here, we have Mr. Logie, number 81 or 82? 84.
It used to be 81.
81. Okay. He's a diehard Maverick wide receiver. Was actually part of the last Maverick team that actually won a playoff game. 3 rounds in the playoffs, right? I was fortunate to be part of their team, so I'll never forget those memories as well. I appreciate that a whole lot. He's actually been at the board 3 years as well. And he's currently employed by Line Tech Services. So we appreciate his service as well. To our left here, we have the young Miss Adrian Ramirez as well, okay, position 4. Currently, she's looking at completing her first true year, right, of service for this, and she has actually 2 more before she's able to run again, right? She's employed by Southwest Texas College, serving as a college success coach. So she'll be knowing a lot of her youth as they go through public schools with the purpose of getting a higher degree, y'all, associate's degree before they graduate from high school, which is very, very commendable for our students. So we look forward to having Ms. Adrian Ramirez represent our whole community in her capacity as well. So we thank her for that. Well, Mr. Lionel Gandara, former classmate, okay, class of 85. He is looking at completing a 1-year term. Previously, he was on the board from 2014 to 2020, which this year will make it a total of 7 years. Mr. Gandara is employed by South Texas Electric Co-op as an office and warehouse clerk. He's also always around trying to make a difference in how he can help. He served to help the youth in many youth sports over the many decades, and he continues now to want to make a difference because he bleeds green. He's not that old. He got a new haircut. So he bleeds green, y'all. He's always been a Maverick supporter for boys and girls. We appreciate his service as well. Then we have Mrs. Diana Hughes, okay? I think a classmate, but a younger classmate as well, right? As well. She is looking at completing her first year of service, okay, of a 3-year term. She's currently a co-owner of an oil field consultant roustabout company. She volunteers like 100% of her time also to raise funds for our students, our athletic department. She's always out there trying to help bring back funds for our kids. We appreciate everything that she's done and she does on a continuous basis. She's also a former band student as well. So a shout out to the Pearsall High School band as well. She's also works remotely as an office manager for an oil field rental company as well. So we highlight our board members. We thank them for the selfless job that they do, the selfless volunteer work that they do, that they're here. And I know that they take a lot of phone calls when people are not happy. They're not happy with what's going on, but they do it because they still stick around and they want to make a difference, y'all. And that's something that not many people are willing in this community to do. Really, they're not. They back away. These ladies and gentlemen, they don't do that. They're here to make a difference because they love kids. They love kids and they support our staff. And so we highlight them for everything that they've done. So thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
We have some certificates, campuses, if you wouldn't mind. Y'all can proceed.
They're by name. Check the name out. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Van a hacer mucho.
Right there.
Thank you all for
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, student. You don't want it, Matthew.
Thank
don't want it,
you.
pass it this way. Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Y ese si no lo quieres, lo manejamos aquí.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Va a necesitar una caja. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Oh, wow. Thank you. Híjole. Ponte el pickles. That's so cute. Mira, que me mira la cámara. Okay. Hi. Oh wow, look at that.
Each class made a heart.
Thank you. I take a picture of that. Hold on real quick.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Don't keep them up, we can take a group picture right where your name is called.
Thank you, Miss Baker.
Thank you.
We have Ms. Diana Hughes. We have Mr. Elocio Logi Rodriguez.
I apologize, I'm way underdressed.
We have Ms. Adrian Ramirez. We have Mr. Lino Gandara. We have Mr. Marco Reyes. We have Mr. Matthew Aguilar. And then we have Ms. Mari Benavidez.
And 1, 2, 3.
it for that, right, Doctor?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, next we'll move on to item 5B, which is student recognition. The most important one. It's all about them.
So this evening for student recognition, we are recognizing students for perfect attendance. For the first semester, it is not easy to achieve perfect attendance. There are many situations that come up during the school year that may impede a child from coming to school. And while we recognize that a lot of it is beyond their control, we need to recognize those students who come to school every day, rain or shine. So I would like to recognize the following students. Students, when you hear your name, please come up and stay up here so we can take a group picture. Omar Aguilar. Malachi Tavera. Malachi Hill. Jocelyn Bettis. Tamani Williams. Christian Aguilar. Braisley Robinson. Leroy Martinez. Tamora Williams. Eduardo Villarreal. Jesus Huertas Palomo. Cyan Tavera. Amaris Martinez. Jalen Garcia. Gabriel Maynes. Jason Ansaldúa. Jackson Sanchez. Madison Gonzalez. Zachariah Martinez. So we had 19 students this semester have perfect attendance. That means they never missed a day, they never went home early. Parents, family members of these students, can you please stand up? Bringing your students to school every day, it makes a difference. We appreciate you. It doesn't go unnoticed, and please continue to bring them to school. And congratulations to you.
I don't know if they're gonna get them all in there. You can't say put the tall ones in the back because they're all about the same. They'll work some magic there.
All right, can we see Kristen?
Put it on wide.
Ready? And 1, 2, 3.
I have two more students that I'd like to honor. So, this year we made a big push for sight words. We have handed out books to students. There are 10 booklets, and we've made a big push for them to continue to study their sight words so that they become successful readers. I would like to honor 2 students who, by the end of the first semester, completed all 10 books, and so that means that they can read 1,000 sight words. 1,000 sight words means that they can read 90% of newspapers, books, reading material, and so we're extremely proud of them. It just so happens that the 2 students that we're honoring today also came from Miss Velma's sciences classroom, so if she could please come up. Miss Science has really pushed this in her classroom, and to her we are very grateful. We're also grateful to the parents of these students and the family of these students who have made this a priority. So not only are they being honored tonight, but each student is going to receive a $50 Scholastic voucher so they can get $50 worth of books from Scholastic. Our first recipient is Aviana Raymond. Our next recipient is Jackson Sanchez.
Good job, kids.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next. Is he intermediate? Hey, mijo, mijo, dos. Turn it around. No, you don't think that's a cool idea.
Maybe the band student's coming up next.
There you go, that didn't hurt. Thank y'all. No, thank you. Thank y'all. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Good job, Miss Sanchez.
Ahorita se sale.
For Pearsall Junior High, we'd like to honor our December Students of the Week. They are nominated by faculty and staff based on their character, how they are a role model in the class, and just by being a positive student. For December, we have Justin Woodard. Juan Garza. John Navarro. Abigail Juarez. James
boys.
Good evening, board.
Good evening.
For Princeton High School, I'm gonna go ahead and call up, for our student recognition, I'm gonna call up our band directors. So if y'all can please join me up here. And they're gonna help us in celebrating our students and, the band accolades that they've achieved this year. So we have Mr. Perez, Mr. Zamorano, Ms. Montelongo, and Ms. Hector.
Good evening, sir.
Mr. Perez, I'm the head band director. We want to recognize a few students that have gone through the competitive process in the fall semester. We started off with our region band auditions in December for high school, and we took about 20 or so kids, and 20, remember, 22, something like that. I think 29 registered, and we ended up taking about 24. About 22 of them actually got into the group, to the region band. I will pull up their I just had it open a while ago. When I call your name, go ahead and come on up here. I'll go ahead and say your name and the chair that you got, and then just come on up here. We'll take a quick picture. Shania Martinez, she plays fifth chair in the flute symphonic band. We have Master area, so Addison Valdez, she was first chair of flute concert band. Lisa Stefan, fourth chair of flute concert band. Krista Garcia took our first chair in clarinet symphonic band. In one of the bigger sections of the entire region, about 60.
There's like 64.
Yeah, out of 64 audition, she placed first chair.
Yeah.
Junior Benavides, first chair concert. Sophia Garcia, fifth chair concert, clarinet and concert band. Scarlett Flores, she plays eighth chair in concert. We have two region alternates. Alyssa Garcia, a freshman, she got it was the first alternate in concert band. For concert band, Julian Lopez, third chair. There was about 48 in your section, placing third.
Wow.
In, concert band. Let's see, Jeremiah Gutierrez plays fifth chair also, concert band as well. Steven Herrera, he plays first chair in trumpet and for symphonic band, and also dance career. Another one of the big groups, trumpet. The trumpet section, clarinet section, they're all usually all in the 60s. There was 65 audition members for trumpets this year, and there was about 8, and he plays first. Diego Corona plays third chair in trumpet on concert band. Criselda Perez plays 12th chair in concert band. Cody Houston plays first chair at French horn. Edric Ventura the growth of the cement deal for them it's really, really big deal. Again, the area is a smaller pool, but it's a much stronger pool. So there's the competitiveness is really strong with every single kid that goes in there. It's a more expensive and more thorough audition. The difference between the region and the area audition process is the same region, just all the region. So, for example, they have a skill sheet for the region audition, they play four skills out of the week. And then they half of the relations and then you take half of the relations anywhere in that. So we can span 8 measures to 12 measures or even smaller. And then usually according to the slow down on that one, usually about the same amount of measures. After that, it's a free for all. They advance the area, it's the entire country is really all only. And they play them down like a game team. And the river going is low, it's lower rating, is pretty much like 90% of it, not all of it. And the technical movie is usually the entire country, which usually rounds up about maybe 50 measures. To get to that, you have to really work at it. It's a lot of, it's very taxing on the small muscles around the country. So they really, the doing the area is really optimistic because every single one of them is really good at that level. He's not going to have a season good at vision earlier. He became a 2-time All-Star this past Saturday. He made it last year as a sophomore, played second year at area, and he did that again this year. So kudos to him. If he, as a senior, were to make it again, he would get a nice scholarship check from the UTSC organization as well. As well as many other opportunities for colleges to come over. I'm pretty sure you get stopped by a lot of colleges in the United States. So I'll make some quick pictures with them. Mike made it real.
Awesome.
We really appreciate you guys for approving all that stuff. I think it's as soon as we got them in, we passed them out. So, and whatever they have in their hands with the stuff that they prepared, and I can see that they look very high quality that they use.
Awesome.
So, thank you all very much for your help.
Great job.
And we're not done yet receiving our award workers, so there'll be more pictures to come. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you, sir.
This is awesome.
Thank you.
Ahorita lo pasamos para allá. Beautiful. Put that one on the wall.
Oh, just a bit of information. Our drumline picture is in there. The drumline equipment that you see in there had its official debut at the Ross Bank Center.
Great job on that too. That was awesome. ¿Quién falta, sir? That's it. All right, next we'll move to employee recognition. Parents and students, thank y'all for being here. Y'all be safe. No, aquella. Se aventó. Aquella con el nombre. La manzana. Oh, yeah. It's getting very quiet.
Yes, colder.
Thank you.
For our intermediate employee one, we selected someone who does a lot of work behind the scenes. Usually these people don't get noticed very often. So we picked our cafeteria manager for this. Mr. Morales. For the almost whole year, we've been short staffed in the cafeteria. And she and her staff, they went, every day, in and out. The kids always had breakfast on time, they always had lunch on time. They didn't know anybody was ever missing. And they picked up that slack and without any complaint, they did it. So, we are honoring Mr. Morales. I'd like to congratulate Ms. Maritza Gonzalez. She's our Employee of the Month at Pearsall Junior High. As our dedicated instructional coach, Maritza goes above and beyond to support our teachers, providing guidance, encouragement, and innovative strategies to enhance classroom instruction. Her hard work, expertise, and commitment to empowering our teachers makes her a valuable part of our team. Thank you, Maritza, for your exceptional contributions. And I will say, she was probably one of our top hires, and I hope we can keep her from West Texas.
Congratulations.
For Pearsall High School, our January Employee of the Month is Ms. Mari Gutierrez. She is one of our inclusion teachers at Pearsall High School. She is our lead inclusion teacher. We have another inclusion teacher and 5 inclusion pairs that work in that department. She has been instrumental in, helping to make sure that our students receive all the inclusion time that they're allotted and that they're able to get. She helps with the inclusion schedules. She takes into account anytime we have anything going on at the campus that's going to affect the scheduling of that inclusion support, and is real quick to make any necessary changes. She's a go-getter. She's one of those that I don't have to ask for anything. She knows something's going on. She's going to come ask Ms. Bass, what do I need? Where do you need me? And she's unable to be here. She also helps out in the athletic department with coaching, so she is unable to be here. But I did want to make sure she was recognized, Ms. Mari Gutierrez.
morning, sir.
Okay, so last year, we were trying to find a new book tripper, since the one that was with us left. And, we interviewed, several people, and we're trying to find the right person, because that's a very important decision. Back in, around May of last year, I mean, maybe a little off, but, we had an applicant that was immediately informed of when, she applied, that was, working here at a pharmacy. Anyway, we called her, talked to her, and we were very impressed. We ended up hiring her, and she hasn't even completed 1 year yet, but she has learned tremendously, and she's still learning, and we're very lucky to have found her. And we hope she stays with us a long time. Gloria, por everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, great job. Is that the last one? All right. Thank you all very much. Next, we'll move on to the informational items, and we'll move on to item A, which are the principal board reports. Sorry, sir, your time is up.
2 minutes. For Employee of the Month, I would like to recognize for the Technology Department, Mr. Joseph Esquivel. When he first got hired with the department, he was a greenhorn, greener than the Maverick Green. He didn't know much, and we had a little bit of a rough start. Everybody can grow as a person. I'm not a perfect person either. And he's excelled and grown every year that he's been here. More so now that we have Adrian, it's kind of taking him under his wing. I neglected him a little bit. So he's been learning, a little bit of the network switching commands, and all the Ethernet cables and different technology cables that we use. He's learned to identify and troubleshoot some of our computer systems, Chromebooks, and he keeps learning, and he's a self-motivated individual.
That's it.
I don't have nothing for him to do. He's already out doing work orders and doing it on his own. So those are the kind of people we want that take initiative, right, in every
That's it.
department. So, Joseph, thank you for everything you do for the.
Congratulations, Joseph.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Congratulations. Yeah, you find them like that, man. They're hard to come by.
We decided to come up again all together like last time.
You can see.
Ándale.
We hope you don't mind, sir. Do y'all have any questions on our board reports for this month?
I just like to get an update from TFE as far as the reading program and how that's coming along, and give us some of your insight.
So I think this year we have seen a tremendous growth in both first and second grade. I think they have committed to using their HMH phonics program along with supplementing it, so we are seeing changes. When it comes to our after-school intervention, Ms. Bernal has taken that over, and she has been more prescriptive with our kids who are coming in for after-school. So I've seen consistency with our after-school as well, and I think because of that consistency, parents have given us more trust, and they're coming in after school. So
Build that.
we're building it, we're moving through. It takes a while, but we're getting there. And I think the priority for teachers now, they've realized just the amount of work that it takes to get our kids to read, because it's not easy. And so we understand that support may not always be there at home. So if it's not there, how can we support our students while we have them with us? And how can we maximize that time with them and making sure that we are meeting those needs? Yeah.
Ms. Baker, what are some of your highlights?
So, we started, this semester with, additional reading pull-out groups. We had been, for the first semester, having our paras, when they're not doing the special classes, going into the classrooms and assisting the teachers in there. This time, we're deciding to use our paras, and, they helped, assess the students on, the Read Naturally program. And it's phonics based and as well as sight words, and so we took the majority of our special education students plus additional students who are not identified as SPED, but a little bit on the lower level, and pulling them out together based on their level. And the paras are actually pulling out the small groups for 20 minutes, and they start out with sight words, whether they're on the second grade sight word list or pre-K list.
How do the
or
kids like
fourth.
that?
The kids are really enjoying it. They are coming in, are we gonna
Inclusivity.
do our reading groups? Are we gonna do our reading groups? Because they're getting out of the classroom and they're with a para that's different, and, they get more. Yes, yes, and, they don't feel, I guess, embarrassed that they're not on the level or they're not getting it, because they're all in the same level. So they're excited to get pulled out. So we're starting that, so. They're fourth and fifth graders, so. And I told them if they don't improve, they're gonna have reading plus for recess.
Ms. Talamantes, what are some of your highlights?
Okay, some of our highlights are we passed out the pouches today. So our kids were actually, most of them were actually excited to get that. I've had 2 parent phone calls today, just kind of questioning. They were more worried about the student messing up the phone inside the pouch. So I kind of invited them to the campus, showed them how it worked, and they left fine. So it went well today. We'll start them, kick them out tomorrow to see how it goes. We have benchmarks coming up at the end of the week, so we've been prepping for those, having teachers co-teach, analyzing data, looking at what teacher was stronger in what TEK and which teacher wasn't, so that teacher can take on the lead teaching of the lesson. Our attendance is slowly climbing back up. We've had a lot of students out this past week being sick. We're hoping the
been
track
pretty-
is finished so we can
It's
have
bad
recess.
everywhere.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, there's a real bad stomach virus.
Stomach
going around
virus.
at the high school.
And the flu.
Flu.
Yep. We've had like
Yes.
4 with the flu this week.
So we've also had a lot of students who can't make after school tutorials because of athletics or whatever, maybe they're actually coming in for lunch. So teachers have been having lunch groups, and I've been impressed for that because I didn't ask for them to take up their lunch. But students have been eagerly trying to go in to have lunch. They all set goals for benchmarks, and there's a competition going because 8th grade hates losing to 6th grade. And it's happening. So they all set goals and put them behind
that's
their
good.
doors so students can see them every day that they're coming in out of their classrooms. So it's a real big push, and we're hoping they're ready for benchmarks. Yes, sir.
We're doing a lot of the same thing at the high school. Right now, the teachers are looking at their data and updating intervention groups to see, those kids that are already meeting the mark. See if we need to add more onto our watch list and whatnot. We passed out our pouches today too. We were only able to get through 9th, 10th, and 11th grade, so our seniors, I told them this afternoon on the announcements, I was like, we're keeping the best for last. So you guys, first thing
You're
tomorrow
next.
morning. Our plan was to get them all out today, but I was tied up in a meeting all morning, so we had to start after school. So, it's something new. These kids, yeah, you have some, they're like, oh, what if this, what if that? And I was like, well, let's see, what if? I'm gonna destroy it, okay?
The big word IF, if.
And, but then a lot of them teach, cause we're starting, even though they went home today, tomorrow, everybody has to come with it in their cell phone, in their pouch, in their backpack. But as we were calling, they'd come back, I go, you're back again? They're like, no, this is so neat, and they're like unlocking them and stuff, and so, as
Just
long
a matter
as-
of,
as long
a
as
matter
they
of
see-
time.
As long as they see the humor in it, they're having fun with it, but tomorrow, it'll be the test for our 9th through 11th graders, and then, by tomorrow, I imagine by 10 o'clock, everybody on campus should have them. We did have some absent. We had a lot of kids go home sick early today, so we'll need to get those passed out as well. Other things going on. something and I was like, oh, yeah. But, I mean, our data is holding steady. We're higher than we've been, the last 2 years at this point in the year, and so we're just trying to finish strong. The kids are excited about it. The one thing that, you're gonna start to see on, social media is we're going to, send out reminders about the Clear Mesh backpacks. Something happened over winter break, and they're coming back with their regular backpacks. So those, they're not allowed, so, just in case it comes up, they're not allowed to, go through the halls with that. They have to turn it in, we hold them there in the office. It was kind of crowded today. There was about 25 to 30. Mr. Ramirez and I had purchased about 80 backpacks at the beginning of the year, clear backpacks. And so the kids didn't have it. We were passing those out, but we ran out of those, throughout the year. And they're the plastic ones, and they don't last that long. The kids would come back, the zipper's broken or the strap broke, so we would get them a new one. We're out of those, so we're looking to put another order in for that. We've had some kids complain because I told them they're not following our district policy with clear or mesh backpacks, so now their backpacks are subject to be searched. And so it doesn't happen right then and there. They leave them in the office, and then, when I get a little bit of time, or Mr. Ramirez, we'll go just make sure that they're not bringing anything they're not supposed to onto campus. If they need anything from the backpack, they come get, a notebook or that they may need for a certain class, they'll come and get it, but they're not allowed to walk on campus with that. So we noticed today that it was a little bit of a higher number, and so we're gonna start sending some reminders out on social media. So just in case y'all start to see that, like, hey, why right now?
Hey, policy.
But we did notice that. But the metal detectors have helped us because it stops the flow coming in, and we're able to catch them real quick.
Those have been successful, that's one thing I forgot. Metal detectors have been good. Kids like going through them, they'll go through them, it's gonna go again, I'm like, no, there's a line. They like it, it's so funny.
And then like, you're not gonna want me, and I was like, no, you got the green lights.
It's so
No, ours go
funny.
like this.
You're good.
They check
It's
through.
been good, it hasn't been bad at all.
I have a question, and I'd like to learn something right here, right now. Right here on the IXL, first of all, it's a resource for, just so we can educate them on it.
Reading, math, and
Math and
science.
science.
Okay.
Reading, math, and science.
In the data collected here, I'm asking because I didn't see any dates on it, but I'd like to, like a time frame, like when is this data retrieved and how do we evaluate it? And then this percent right here, skills proficient per student per week, goal 1, this, what is this? And what what is that on? Do you see it? And is this improvement or not improvement?
They're improvement. It's kind of hard. I don't have it in front of me, but it's kind of hard to see. So it is improvement. If you look across the bottom where it has it broken down by grade level, it's showing the growth, the green lines. So our freshmen, you can see the 9th graders are really hitting this hard for math, and that's why you see the high numbers there. And then 10th grade, and then 11th and 12th grade respectively. 9th grade uses it a lot. That's Algebra 1, and this is highly aligned to EOC, so that's the big push there. And so now it's trying to get the rest of our math department on board with that. But yes, it is going, showing growth. These were cumulative results, so it was a snapshot of where we were at. This is actually the same data from the December board, because from December board meeting to this board meeting, it's only been 2 weeks, so we haven't had any new data. So the data that's being reported here is the exact same. It's carbon copy of what was the December report. So this was where we are as of that point.
Okay, thank you for that. And also on the, I know that, again, I'm gonna ask, the IXL also has a TSI
Yes.
resource. Have we done anything with
No.
that?
That was something that we had asked. It doesn't let us go in. It shows it on there, but it doesn't let us access, and we asked our CNI test prep, because it has all the test prep, bank on there as well. And so not just for TSI, but also EOC prep. And so we're waiting to find out on that.
And how long should we wait?
We shouldn't, it shouldn't
Okay,
be that.
that's just because I know, I mean, things are coming and
Yeah.
we need to start,
And
okay.
I'm glad you brought up
I
the
appreciate
TSI testing. We, I sound like a broken, we've had TSI testing dates all year long, and we have that going on today and tomorrow also. And then, I was asked a question about the prep program, so I'm not sure, who asked it, but, that prep program is a pre-engineering program that UTSA puts out. It's a 4-year, commitment. The question was, do we still offer that or push that, and is transportation provided, and whatnot? So yes, the answer is, yes, we do advertise that. All of our classes have, a Google Classroom, that is, class of 2028, class of 2029. They all have their respective class Google Classroom, and that's where we send out all information that's pertinent to them. So all freshmen, because it is a 4-year commitment. Last year, when it was shared out, we didn't have kids volunteer because it's 4.5 weeks from July 10th,
Commitment.
June 10th through July 10th. And when they started looking at some of that stuff, they did not sign up for it. But we are pushing it. We have a deadline that's coming up for registration in February, and so we've had our counselors talk to the students about it as well, so that we can hopefully have a couple participate and start this year. So we've been really pushing it with our freshmen this year, so that we can hopefully have them for the duration of the 4 years. Yes, it has been provided in the past, and it'll continue to be provided. Yes, ma'am. Thank
Going
you.
back to the yonder college, this is more to the high school. You're in a different situation, of course, and I'm glad the band director's here. Since we got separate buildings, I'm just, I know you still gotta roll out the rest of them to the other students as well. But, I'm hoping, and I'm sure there's gonna be the support from the band director, the athletic director, the CTE department, that all those rules, stay, that we focus on that, that once they leave the high school building, the main building, when they go to whether it's the PAC Center or the CTE building or the athletic department, that they support what we are establishing here, so.
Yes, sir.
I just
I
wanna make
agree,
sure
so
that there's communication between the
Correct.
directors and yourself,
Yeah, correct. So that is coming to make sure that we identify all the needs within the athletic department and band. And within band, it'll also be our theater arts, because they do have some after-school practices. And so it's basically to address any students that aren't gonna be exiting through the main part of the campus. And so we've had some of our wall mounts mounted only in the front of the school. And so we're asking students to come out from there until we can get the athletic director and band director on board and to finalize what that's going to look like. Because if we were to go put out wall mounts anywhere, then it could potentially be a free-for-all where they could go and that's something that we're trying to prevent. We need to execute this initiative with fidelity, and we need to make sure that we're all on board. So, we told the kids it's gonna be a little difficult because we're all, going through the certain areas, but we have 6, 7, 8, 9, we have 9 up in the front that they can use, and then of course from that 9, then we'll go and mount in different areas of the campus, so that it can be an easier flow. It'll be an easier flow, but I need to make sure that everybody's on the same page before we put it out, because then it'll be hard to wrangle that back up.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
The last highlight is recruitment for early college high school
is getting ready to be started, and so we'll start, talking with, junior high and getting those dates so we can start that recruitment, so you'll start to see flyers and that information getting shared out on social media. And we're hoping to have the recruitment and lottery selection and everything by the end of February completed, so that we can already have our roster for our first cohort for the early college high school, started at the start of March.
Good job.
Thank you.
Utilize every resource.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for your continued support of all of us at the campuses. Thank you.
Next, we'll move on to item 6B, which is the Food Service Department report.
Good evening, Board. I want to go ahead and start off with, I do apologize, I didn't get to make the board meeting last month. I know I did send Dr. Rodriguez an email Tuesday, had a personal matter to attend to on Wednesday, so it was unfortunate. I know Dr. Rodriguez had an emergency, so I'm not sure if he was
Not
able
to
to pass it
worry.
along.
You're okay.
So I want to go ahead and start off with, did y'all have any questions on that report last month, which was for November? No concerns? No? Okay. For this report that's presented, that you'll have in front, that is December. And as you can see through the report, of course, it's a comparison of 23, 24. And as you view the report, you'll see breakfast, lunch, the meals revenue, after-school program, and then as well the after-school program revenue. You'll see the performance space, the snack, and the a la carte, and then it gives you the totals on revenues on the bottom. I know December's a shorter month, and we are Monday through Thursday, so we are taking a hit on the revenue as well.
Yeah, and I wanted the board to look at that. We'll look at that when we look at the financial information, but you'll see where, I think last month was one of the concerns I had, was we're like at 210,000 in the red, right? So this is one of the things that we'll look at this year. We're in the positive overall, but we'll have to look at this for financial budget for next year, because if you end up in the red, when we started this 10 years ago, was it about that time, Doctor? We were $350,000 in the hole when we started. So we don't want to go back there, okay? So just give everybody a heads up on that.
I just have a question. Like last year, of course, you know, it's in regarding 14 days versus this year, 12 days. What actually caused the, you know, like the meals, you know, breakfast and lunch, you know, they were about 1,700 lunch meals less than the breakfast back then. You know,
Yeah, I saw that as well.
this year it's not. It's about the same, and you're looking at about 120 meals, lunch meals, you know, daily, you know, less than the breakfast. I mean,
And,
were they bringing lunches? The parents were bringing in lunches, or?
No, it's not. It's a closed campus. I mean, it just varies as well throughout each campus, and, you know, if kids eat, the kids don't eat. I know I've heard some, you know, some feedback as well, you know, the kids don't like this, the kids don't like that. And it's unfortunate, as well, because, you know, we wanna feed the kids. But per Texas Department of Agriculture, we do have a bid, and we do have items on there that we have to purchase.
Sure.
So unfortunately, the food that is being purchased is low on sodium, low on sugars. So it's a big difference what they are used to eating at home, you know, and if parents take them out to eat on a daily basis, or however, you know, however they run their household, you know, kids will notice the difference between, hey, this chicken sandwich doesn't taste like where my mom goes and gets a chicken sandwich. So it is sad, you know, but of course, these rules are in place and we have to
Right,
have to
because we
follow
get
them.
reimbursed
Yeah, we
by
do.
plates as well, so.
Yeah, we do. So, yeah, we're trying.
I was just curious, you
We're
know,
out
if there was something that we did differently this
No.
year, you know?
Does that pertain to also the amount of food that is being served to the student as well?
Yeah, they have to have certain amounts of veggies and fruits, which is basically half a cup of veggie, the half a cup of the fruit. Their entree has to meet the 2 ounces of protein. So, I mean, they're really they're really strict with us.
Government work.
Yeah, and I know, you know, people are like, oh, I'm still hungry, and, you know, but whenever there's an audit, and there is an audit coming up in February for the supper program, and, you know, the auditor will go and view as they serve the food out, and of course, other documentation has to be turned in, so it's very strict. It is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to item C, the police department report.
Hello, good evening board, good evening Dr. Rod. To start from my report, first we had a safety meeting with the Frederick County Sheriff's Office and Dilley ISD. During the safety meeting, we just discussed all our safety projects going on, the metal detectors, panic alarm, the fencing. We discussed emergency evacuation routes, got their opinions on what they thought would be easier for us to either exit the building or for them to enter the building. And with all the new fencing coming up, we had to tell them where the new gates are going to be, where the egresses are, and where the keys are going to be for the gates and for the buildings. The only thing out of that meeting that we found that was lacking was maps. That is another project we're already working on. I know Dr. Rod and Mr. Garza was talking to an architect. I then reached out to two companies, one by Geocom, who they'll come in and they'll scan each room and to get accurate measurements of each building. And then another company who will do possible 3D map of the school. So they'll come in and they'll do like a 3D mapping of the school, like a Google roadway view. So that's something to look forward to for another safety project. Next, we had, I've been working on department policy updates. I did adopt a canine policy for the department, and within this policy, it's just going to tell the canine handler how to do proper training records, documentation of health care for the canine, breaks down procedures in case if the dog ever accidentally bites a student or an adult, it tells us what procedures to follow after that incident. It also breaks down if narcotics are found during canine searches, how to maintain the canine, how to maintain the living quarters for the canine, and how to handle the canine during school demonstrations. Another policy I added was a field training officer policy. This is for newly hired officers, so it's broken down into phases. Week 1 will be orientation, so an officer who is dedicated to train that officer will take them around each campus, introduce them to the staff, students, get them to know everybody. Then to bring in their phases, phase 1 will be the officer will ghost one of our officers on campus and kind of see how things work, follow the policies and department policy and school policy. And then they'll slowly start easing them in so they could take calls, see how they handle calls with juveniles, how they handle calls with adults. And we'll start testing them, see if they're understanding juvenile law and actual law, penal code, and making sure they're following everything that we do here at Purcell ISD. Next, the Reking project is completed. I did my final walkthrough last Wednesday with the vendor. We did find some that he missed, and we were able to get the actual core out and actually key it correctly, so all that was good. The campus is in charge of their classroom keys, so all the new classroom keys are going to be issued to the administration, and then they'll delegate it down to whatever secretary is in charge of issuing keys and keeping track of that documentation of when the key is issued and who it is issued to and when it's returned. I am in charge of all the master keys and grandmaster keys and exterior keys. So I'll keep that documentation on my end, and if maintenance or somebody has that key, then they'll come to me for that key.
Do they have the original copy? I mean, they have the original, and did they give you a copy of that inventory of who signs in and who signs out?
So I actually created it first. So I have the original copy of all the documentation of who has a key, and then I'll share it with the secretaries, and then after this school year, then they'll keep their own documentation. And I did put a policy in place of how they should be keeping documentation, and then I'll go by each beginning of the school year, end of the school year to see how that documentation is at the end of the year. But for the master key documentation, is I have the original, and I'll be in charge of that.
How are we doing, weekend Pee Wee sports with all that? How is it working out?
So they do, it's pretty good. We don't have any issues. I don't know where that, Bernard. They do the building use form, so they'll set a date and time and go with the administration, and administration will get somebody to open the facility. Usually if it's on a weekend, then my security guard is the one that goes out there and opens the facility.
Anything during the week, we have custodians that are still on staff, so they'll open and close. And then on the weekends, if something comes in, if, you know, I'm not able to be there or a custodian isn't able to be there to open up, then security steps in. So we have, you know, kind of a first round, a second round, and a third round.
I also asked, or I also had given Mr. Cavazos my number and told him if the coaches need to change their schedule, please let them know, give them my number. That way we can make sure that we have somebody, a custodian, or that the days change or the times.
Thank you.
So next is the security guards. I'm also looking into getting them certified as a level 2 security guards. I've worked on a policy for it, and I need to do paperwork for the state to get them commissioned under me once they are certified. Once all that paperwork is completed, then it'll be an in-house training from Mr. Jackson. He's able to put on the class for them and test them and get them certified.
Where does that entail? Like what?
Really just to be commissioned as a security guard, because they can't be wearing anything that has security personnel on it until they're commissioned as a security guard. And it'll just teach them how to, like, what to look for, how to report stuff, and keeping out. It's just pretty much viewing and reporting. They're not able to enforce any laws or carry any firearm or anything like that.
Protocols and procedures.
Any questions?
Yes, sir. On some of these, you know, it's on the campus, principal reports. Like at junior high, security, how's you know, the front door camera and the buzzing system, that working pretty good with your SRO? I mean, you know, there hasn't been any issues, Ms. Talamantes?
No, sir.
Everything looks
Not
good?
currently. Everything's fine, yes, sir.
Okay, I see that, you know, every campus has, you know, the doors being checked and all that. Looks like I guess your security officer is patrolling one of the campuses, which is, I guess we're hopefully, employing.
Yes, sir.
SRO.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Metal detectors, the last meeting we had some discussion about, placements of them. Have we adjusted those placements?
Yes, sir.
yet?
Yeah, so me and Mr. Garza actually went and moved them around to in front of the corridor, or in the corridor, because they were on the secure side of the campuses already. So we moved them to where it's by the front door, and they have to get checked in first and scanned before they're into the secure side of the building. We were having issues with them with software, so me and Mr. Garza did go around each campus and updated each metal detector that was provided from the company.
That was gonna be a question for, Mr. Garza, which, you know, what kind of updates are we were looking at, you know, and how often do we have to make those updates on those,
It just
you know,
seemed-
they've been in place since mid-December, so, you know, what kind of an updates are we needing? Are we gonna have to, you know, update them constantly, or?
No, it didn't seem like it. The vendor were just saying that it was a misfire, I guess, with the motherboard or whatever was going on with the metal detector, and they already knew of the issue, so they were able to ship us the SIMS card to update it pretty quick.
Okay, and my last question I have for you is, back in January 7th, when they had that shooting in town, you know, it was during lunchtime. Do we have, you know, some sort of system, you know, like whenever, you know, school personnel leaves campus and they happen to start showing up once we're locked down, and, you know, especially like that incident that happened when they had to bail out right there by the intermediate. You know, I mean, if you have a campus employee trying to get in and somebody in the inside trying to get them in, but, you know, you have, you know, the bad guy or whatever right next to him or whatever. I mean, what's the protocol there? I mean, maybe we don't have to discuss it right now, but I'm just curious, you know, I mean, I know it's public, but, you know.
Yeah, so the protocol is each campus going to secure, meaning they'll go and double check, making sure all the exterior doors are locked. They'll keep an extra eye out, making sure nobody's trying to get into school. When they're in the secure, if a ISD employee is trying to get in, they'll have to be buzzed in, and then the front desk will either call somebody to escort them in, depending on situation. Like if somebody was trying to get in DMP, we're obviously not gonna open that front door and wait until that area is clear. So, you kind of play it by ear to see if that person's able to come into the campus or not. But during the security, everybody's escorted in and out.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Any other question?
I do. Just real quick, over the holidays, and we have some sporting events, right? Particular neighboring district, you get kind of crazy, kind of rowdy, I know competition's high. The last couple of times they've been in town, it's been pretty close to escalating to something else, right?
Yes, sir.
Do y'all talk about, or plan around who's coming to play and maybe, hey, this game could get kind of crazy and have extra personnel, or maybe extra presence of a police officer to kind of help push them out of the gym afterwards and not kind of linger?
Yes, sir. Yeah, so we can. Usually whenever I see a district game or district is starting, it's automatic 2 officers because I know basketball's a hot sport already. So it's automatic 2 officers, but we can also reach out to Furrier County or the city of Pearsall just to get more presence of officers there.
And my thing was, because, I mean, you never know, right? And so many people, they just tend to kind of gather around outside the door and just won't leave. They just don't leave, right? And it's kind of...
Yeah, that last basketball game I did have to...
And kind of, whatnot from those sites.
Yes, sir.
Well, we do have procedures and plans that we meet and go over with. And I know we meet with Chief Cantu and the campus officers, very often, in anticipation for that. I know the event that you're talking about, and there was something else that transpired after that event that we were not made aware of, so we weren't able to plan for that. And so that may have contributed to, had we known, we could have had a different plan in place for that.
Yeah, and I get it. I mean, we can't
Especially
foresee everything.
And it's like, yes, we went to, acknowledge accolades, but at the same time, you said, you hit the nail on the head. We need to take into consideration who's playing and the history behind that. And that would have been a decision maker in, we need to do something different.
Questions? Yes, so yeah, I did get in with the administration and we talked about personnel and the AD we got within, and he said the people who are running the ticket system, he has one running scanning tickets and the other person scanning, and then there's a assistant principal there wanding if the metal detector goes off. And it has been very successful. We did catch a couple knives last basketball game, so it's working out very well.
I do have one more. On the dog treat, have they turned up anything?
On the what?
The dog treats?
No, we did do one a couple weeks ago at high school.
At the high school, and I think I reported at the last board meeting, 0 hits.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Let's move on to item D, which is the Technology Department report.
Good evening, Mr. President, Dr. Rodriguez, members of the board. Daniel Garza with the Technology Department. Been pretty busy at the Technology Department. We had some rodent damage on some cabling on the intercom system. That's, the new intercom. Fortunately, we have squirrels and things like that. They get up in the ceilings and love to chew cables for whatever reason. So I talked to Mr. Humby already, so we're looking at getting Bud Robledo to try to do something different besides trapping them and releasing them on Margot Drive at Logie's house there. But so we're trying to figure out how to do something different that's a little bit more permanent, right? Lack of a better word. Also, during the break, I did test some of the backups, just randomly selected a few servers, backed up from our Veeam backup solution. Those went without no issues. Cybersecurity, just continuing to install updates on our server systems. Physical security, the techs did install a few cameras in the special ed rooms that were kind of lacking kind of some coverage. Wanted to get maybe a different angle or a different view, a little bit closer. So we did install a few extras there. We're currently installing the environmental sensors, AKA vape sensors,
in some of the locations at the high school. So that's been a process, right? Because not everything's drop ceiling, pipe ceiling, look in there and throw a cable. It's hard ceiling and trying to remove an air duct and find an access. So it's been a slower process than what I thought it was gonna take for us to do, but they are working diligently doing that. I think y'all got 5 or 6 done already. So they are moving with that. Did set up the whole cloud dashboard, looking at syncing that with our cameras, so when it hits, it shows you what camera, what restroom, what door, all that good stuff. Silent panic alarm, that is pretty much 99%, 95% done. We tried to do a test on the December 30th, but the call didn't make it out from our system, so I'm working with some vendors to try to figure out why that call didn't take place. It calls internally, so we're kind of troubleshooting that, but there was a configuration issue on RFT side that we believe was causing that issue. So I do have a call with them scheduled, I think, next week to get that resolved. And I've been working with Mr. Olguin at the Sheriff's Office as far as giving them access to our silent panic alarm, so when it's triggered, the dispatchers have a monitor where they're gonna see where it got triggered, what campus, what individual, what employee triggered that panic alarm, and of course that movement of that fob. Like I said, the internal test did work. You do the triggers and it does go, kind of tying to what Chief Cantu said about the mapping. We do need to get better updated maps. Been kind of working with an architect to kind of come out here and look and design what's changed, because some of the rooms, this might have been 2 rooms at one time, now it's 1 room, or 1 room is now 2 rooms, different things. So we want to make sure we got good, accurate maps of what the district looks like. And that way when law enforcement's responding or emergency personnel, they know when they look at a map where they're going, instead of like, oh, wait a minute, that's not on the map, or that closet's not there. So that's something that's very important. So we are looking at different solutions on getting that taken care of, addressing that need. Also, still continuing, nothing to report on the instructional technology side. I know Mr. Rochester was kind of interested in those VR headsets that we bought last year, kind of getting those implemented again, making sure that our campuses are using those. I know they're busy with test prep and things like that, but we invested in those, so we need to make sure we're getting those, our bang for our buck out of those. Also, on to doing still fulfilling technology support requests, and on to the other projects. Fencing, y'all seen a lot of the fencing kind of going up around the campuses. They started at intermediate. They're working on the back end now, coming all the way to the football field. The football field retaining wall fencing thing, that's been an ongoing back and forth with the city and different people trying to figure out what's best. It's one of those where our fence line is unfortunately right on the property line, so any change that we make, a 4-inch change or a 3-inch change into the city right away, or the drainage ditch, affects that. We need to get a structural engineer and different things. So I have reached out to some engineers already. Myself, Dr. Rod gave me a number as well, kind of trying to see what that plan is, right? If we need to do a wall to keep our track from collapsing, but we have at city's property, it's not the district's property. So kind of that back and forth. I talked to the city manager today saying, what does that look like if the engineer says, hey, we need to grade it out, throw some concrete, are y'all gonna help us pay for that, or are we expected? So kind of having those conversations. Been Dr. Rod, Freddie was at a few meetings or so, at the time, it looked like we're gonna go forward. There was no engineering required, but now it's changed that they want some type of engineering done on that, structural engineer. Of course, that has to do with the plat, the surveys, and all that good information that engineering firm's gonna need. So they are scheduled to come out. MTR is the name of the company. Ron Ramirez, he'll be out here Friday at 9:30, and he's bringing with him a project manager and some other things. They've already started researching for easements and all that good stuff to see what we need to get going to get that project going there at the fence. But that's kind of been the holdup. Mr. Jorge Trevino from De La Garza was gonna come last week, but it was rainy and cold, so we didn't come down. I didn't feel like walking in the rain to take pictures and measure gates, sorry. I told him it's rescheduled for sometime this week, so should be hearing back from him here this week to come out here and start looking at where we're gonna put the gate openers, getting electricity to those gate openers. Are we gonna do solar, things like that? So kind of starting closing up what we have. I want to thank the maintenance department, Freddie and them. They're team players. I'll call Freddie like, hey, I'm gonna rent y'all a backhoe. Can the maintenance guys knock down some trees, rip it out so the fence guys can keep going and we're not running into any more delays, because we do need to button up this project by probably May timeframe, I think, probably sooner than that, just to make sure we're compliant with the grant. So Freddie's been awesome. His guys, Roy Prado, Andy Cuevas, Gabe Cuevas, he's coming on the weekends and are chopping trees, trimming trees, pulling trees. So they're having fun with a backhoe, and I think they're enjoying more operating the backhoe, right? But so I want to thank Freddie again and his staff. I've taken them out to lunch, and I probably owe them a lot more because they've helped me out a lot on the fencing. You already talked about the metal detectors, I think, so that's all I had. Any other questions from me?
Nope, fencing looks great.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I see that you're very busy with fencing and project manager stuff. I want to know how you feel in your technology department. Are you good?
Yes, ma'am.
Your department is doing good with
Yes.
being busy?
Yes, ma'am. We got a.
Is it a concern for you?
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate the concern. Thank you for thinking of me. Our department, I think we have a very strong team. They pretty much take care of it. Adrian has quite a bit of years of experience. Ms. Lucero has about 6 years. So we manage, we communicate, hey, vape sensors, run with it. Hey, cameras, run with it. I don't gotta babysit them or hold their hands, you know what I mean? I still do the overall direction, but they make it happen. So I have a good team. Yes, ma'am. No, they make me look good, so I don't do nothing.
Good, good job. Anybody else? Thank you, sir, we appreciate it.
Have a good evening.
Next we move to item E, Maintenance and Transportation Department.
Good evening, Board, Dr. Rodriguez, Ms. Gonzalez. I just want to continue what Daniel said. We're always busy, super busy. This whole past week, we've been, like Daniel said, we got a backhoe, a skid loader, and I have more than half of my maintenance people working, trying to clear the path for the fence, which is looking a whole lot nice and better, and the district is getting a complete facelift. It looks real nice, and we've been working real hard. And I just want to thank everybody that helps us out and get what we need.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Any questions?
Keep up the good work. We haven't had any complaints, man. That's the most important thing. You're keeping the buildings going and
Oh yeah,
the
we're
classroom's good, so.
out there early in the morning and until
Heater running, right?
and everything earlier in the morning. And,
For Sunday?
And I'm sorry, Mr. Manu.
I know I was kind of upset. Nobody went.
Call me and tell me.
Well, appreciate everything.
Thank you, sir.
All the kids had their concerts that day.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we were.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good night.
Appreciate it. Next we'll go to item F, update on climate and calendar survey. Dr. Rodriguez. Awesome.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
This was shared with me. Okay, so what I did was I just compared the fall percentage and the winter percentage. So the fall was given out in October and the winter in December. And so what I did was I highlighted in green the percentages that went up, and then in red the ones that were not quite as good as the fall percentage. And these surveys were shared out with the principals already, and so they are aware of their results. Moving to the calendar, what I did, I went ahead and typed up every question that was asked to them so that y'all could see the percentages. I did break it down by campus and then overall as a district, the total at the end, so you all could see the percentages. Overall, 83.68% of teachers and staff did support the 4-day school week. We did ask them if they preferred a Monday through Thursday schedule or a Tuesday through Friday schedule. 71% preferred Monday through Thursday, which is what we are currently at, and 28% Tuesday through Friday. And the last question that was asked of them is, which one do you prefer? Do you prefer a 4-day work week, 4.5, or a 5-day work week? Overall, 80% said 4-day, 6% said 4.5, and 13% said a 5-day work week. So that is currently where our staff is, what they feel. We are planning
the calendars for 25-26 school year, obviously, but we will be sending out this climate survey again twice in the spring, so once in about March and then one at the end of the year, so that we can still gauge it again to see how they feel, and that will also go out with the calendar questions as well.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, were y'all gonna send out the calendar survey to the community? Like which one, like what they're wanting? Like what
Usually that goes, first it goes to the DEIC, and then that'll go out, push out to
with all
the,
the district calendars?
right.
Okay. So that'll be like more towards the end of the school year.
Hopefully sooner than later, but yes.
I think maybe.
Yeah, that's what we've discussed, to do it hopefully sooner, because when we're, as principals, right, trying to recruit teachers, it's really hard when, like, last year, for example, when we're like, we might be a 4-day school year, we don't know yet. So it's really hard to recruit people that way, so yes, we're trying to plan ahead and be proactive instead of reactive.
The survey that you sent, that will be sent out, is it gonna have the same questions again, or are we gonna narrow it down to the top 2? And that way it's easier to decide, or, you know?
I guess in our cabinet meetings, when we do have our cabinet meetings, we can discuss that, because it's our cabinet meetings, all like the leaders of the district, right? And so I can ask that and then go from there.
Anybody else? Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Next, we'll go to item 7, approve and correct the minutes for the previous board meeting of November 2024. So, does anybody have any questions or comments regarding meeting date of November 2024? If not, we'll have a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the November 2024 meeting minutes with the
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Lionel Gonzalez, second by Mr. Nacho Aguilar to approve the,
These are for last month's board meeting,
Yeah,
right?
yes, ma'am.
I was not there. For November?
No,
Oh, this is November?
This is November.
Okay.
She didn't have it in
November.
the packet in December.
Got it.
This is just, there's not, the last meeting's minute is not in here either, so, but this is from the previous one.
that's correct. You good with that?
Okay.
All right, so I have a motion by Lionel Gonzalez, seconded by Nacho Aguilar to approve the minutes for November 2024. All in favor? Unanimous, motion carries. Next, we'll move on to item 8, consent agenda, financial information. Ma'am, you have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. Our first report can be found on page 29. It says Exhibit C3 for the month ended December 31st, 2024. For the general fund, total revenues were $15,495,203. Our total expenditures were $9,311,580. with the excess of revenues of $6,183,622, and a year-to-date fund balance of $38,972,123. For our food service fund, total revenues were $579,090. Our total expenditures were $787,190. with the deficiency of revenues of $208,100, and a year-to-date fund balance of $963,160. For our debt service fund, the total revenues were $2,207,891. Total expenditures were $1,000, with the excess of revenues of $2,206,891, and a year-to-date fund balance of $3,485,597. The next report is a schedule of general fund certificates of deposit on page 60. The amounts invested this month were $37,500,000. Interest accrued at the end of this month was $126,000. $721.64. The total value at the end of this month of $37,626,721.64. On page 62 is the schedule of INS fund certificates of deposit. The amounts invested this month were $2,888,117.54. Interest accrued at the end of the month was $7,919.11, with the total value at the end of the month of $2,896,036.65. On page 64 is the general fund investment in the Lone Star Investment Pool. Interest earned for the month of December was $4,465.74. Total interest earned was $18,381.37, with the total investment plus year-to-date interest earned of $1,110,098.83. Are there any questions?
Anybody have any questions? If there are no other questions, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented? I have a motion by Matthew Aguilar, seconded by Ms. Mari Benavides to approve the financial information as presented. All in favor? Unanimous. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, we'll move on to action items. Item 9A, consider and possible action on the auditor's financial presentation for 23-24 district audit.
I'm going to pass out an audit summary to each of you. That is the entire audit report, and this is a summary. Shorter, yes.
It's an abbreviated version.
This is the first I've seen of this one.
No, I think that's the audit communication letter that he has. And then what she has is the audit summary. I was like, how did you get it? Dr. Rodriguez, did you want to say anything before we started? Or did you want us just to go ahead and cover it?
Yes, if you don't mind, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that are new to the board, I think Garland Gonzalez, this firm is the best in the whole state of Texas, because I don't just say it, you know, I mean, they work for the school district, they work for the board, they don't work for me, or they don't, and they're out to make sure that everything is done above and beyond it, and they don't hold back. They're honest in what their findings are. They're the best. I mean, I don't know anybody else that will do their job at that level, and they take their time, and they take this serious. That's why we're here in January, so that they get it done the best possible. Like, that things, there's transparency 100%. So, you know, I'm glad that y'all have been here for serving the board and the school district for all these years, because you have helped keep the district on track, make sure that everything's done right.
Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez. Mr. President and board members, I'm Kim Lopez Gonzalez, representing Garza Gonzalez and Associates, the CPA firm that this body has approved to perform the fiscal year audit for the district for fiscal year ended August 31st, 2024. And Mr. Gondara, you are correct. You have a couple of reports in your board packet. One of them is the annual financial and compliance report. That is the larger report that you have in addition to an audit communication letter, which is our communication to you, board members. As Dr. Rodriguez has indicated, we are independent. We work very closely with management, but we report to you. You are the body that we report to. If you have any concerns, you can come straight to us. I know a lot of board members may think that we report to the superintendent, but no, we report to you. And I'm happy to be here this evening to present to you the results. They are very positive results for the district. Cheryl Sacero, who is an audit Senior from our firm, who works here on a daily basis, worked very closely with Lisa during the audit. I'd like to also thank Lisa for her time that she took, being flexible. I know she has a lot of things going on during the time that we're performing the audit, but we were provided with all the information that we requested in a timely manner so that we come before you. We were hoping to come in December, but it was outside of the district's control on the issues that we were having with the Frio County Tax Assessor's Office in getting the information that we needed to clarify some reports that we were getting from their office. We couldn't release a report where we didn't feel comfortable with those numbers, so we had to ensure that we were getting the information correctly, because if we didn't, the Texas Education Agency would question one of the exhibits that's included in the report. The Texas Education Agency does require that all Texas school districts do receive an audit on an annual basis, and that it be submitted to them within 150 days of the fiscal year end. Since the school district has a fiscal year end of August 31st, 2024, this report is due to them by January 28th, 2025. So hopefully tonight, upon your approval, we will go forward working with Lisa and her staff to submit all the information that's required by that due date. I don't see that there would be any issue with that. So with that said, we are going to be using this audit summary to present the results of the fiscal year ended August 31st, 2024 audit results. And on page 1, we do have a summary of the annual financial and compliance report. This is the larger of the two reports that you have included in your board packet. Item numbers 1, 2, and 3 are our audit opinions to you and to third-party readers, especially the Texas Education Agency, indicating that the audit that we have performed for the August 31st, 2024 fiscal year 24 is unmodified, indicating that the information that you have as of August 31st, 2024, I know that I'm taking you back because Lisa just presented current information. Now we're taking you back to August 31st, 2024. We're kind of historians because we audit history. So the financial statements are fairly presented in all material respects, and that is why we are issuing an unmodified opinion. It is fairly presented in all material respects because we don't audit 100% of the district's information. We audit enough information to allow us to render this type of opinion. In addition to that, the district does administer federal funds that exceed $750,000, so we are required to perform a compliance audit. And based on that, we do test some federal programs to ensure that all the money that you're getting, funds that you're receiving from those grantors are being used in accordance with those requirements. And we are happy to report that there were no material weaknesses, no significant deficiencies, no question costs, no issues that are required to be reported in the larger report. So again, very positive for the school district. This is not different from the results that the district has had in previous years. We have been able to render an unmodified opinion and issue a separate letter that you have that Cheryl will cover with you later, but not comments and recommendations that are significant enough that require reporting in the larger report. That would be a larger concern, a bigger concern for the district with those grantors, which could impact the funds that you receive in future years. So again, very positive for the school district. Items number 4 and 5, as I indicated to you, the school district does expend more than $750,000 in federal funds, so we are required to perform a single audit. The district is considered a low-risk auditee, which again is very favorable for third-party readers and also for grantors, because the reason you qualify as a low-risk auditee is because you have not had any material weaknesses. Material weaknesses indicate that you are not using the funds in accordance with the requirements, or you just don't have controls in place that ensure that you're doing everything that you should be doing to continue using those funds. So again, being a low-risk auditee is very positive for any type of school district or entity, any governmental entity. The major federal programs that we audited, meaning that these are the programs that we tested for compliance. We go through a risk assessment, risk-based audit approach to determine which programs do require an audit. And this year it was the Child Nutrition Cluster and the ESSER grants. And I believe after 2024, you can correct me if I'm wrong, am I wrong, Cheryl or Lisa, there are no more ESSER funds, right, after 24?
Last year was the final.
Yeah, so 24, that's the end of the ESSER money. Anyway, those were the two major federal programs that we audited as part of the compliance audit, which allowed us to render the type of opinion that we discussed earlier. So that gives you that page one just gives you an overall summary of how the district did as part of the audit, which, as you heard, very positive for the district. Page two gets into the numbers of the district, and we're going to focus more on the general fund, since that is the fund that the operating fund that the board pretty much oversees and makes the decisions on operating the district. The fund balance for the general fund at August 31st, 2024 was $33 million. $32 million of that is unassigned, meaning that it is not restricted for any other purpose. And as you can see in that table, that represents about 526 days of operation. That is a very healthy fund balance. Usually the best business practice is at least 3 months of operation, which would put you about 90 days. You have built up your fund balance, and maybe it's because you know that you have things coming, or you know the funding, you can never count on the state funding because there's always changes, but your fund balance has been built up to $32.7 million, represents about 526 days of operation, meaning that if you no longer received any funds, you would be able to operate the district for 526 days. So again, very positive. The fund balance for the general fund increased by $6 million. That's a large increase. So that increased your fund balance to $33 million at August 31st, 2024. For item number 7, the general fund budget, just to give you a summary of it, your revenues exceeded the projected budget by $5 million. Your expenditures were below the final amended budget by $2.9 million, and that is how you were able to increase your fund balance by $6.1 million. In your final amended budget, you had planned to decrease your fund balance by $1.9 million, almost $2 million, but it actually increased by $6.1 million. And the rest of the information is more for you to have in case you wanted to, which we feel like these are the items that if you wanted to go back and look at the audit report, we give you the page numbers just to let you know the district does have debt. There's other long-term liabilities, just trying to highlight some information from you. But I don't plan to go through it in detail, but if you want to turn to page 4, just want to highlight the property tax information for you. As for the August 31st, 2024, the tax rate for the M&O decreased, the INS tax rate decreased a little too, so that the tax levy, so there was a decrease in the property tax collections of about $825,000 for the 24 fiscal year. So that summarizes the information that I feel that I wanted to cover with you, the board, but if you have any questions on the larger report, I'd be happy, Cheryl and I would be happy to answer them. But if not, I'm going to pass it down over to Cheryl so she can summarize the second report, which is the audit communication letter, our communication to you. And this is where we report any comments and recommendations that we feel are opportunities for the district to improve on. And Cheryl, I'll just let you cover that.
As Kim stated, I will be covering the smaller of the 2 reports that you have in your packet, called the Audit Communication Letter. It is formally the report on the conduct of audit. As she stated, our professional standards require us to report to you on our responsibilities under the generally accepted auditing standards, GAS, and uniform guidance, and to communicate to you other information related to our audit. And I'm going to be covering these 5 bullet points that you will find within the audit communication letter. The first one being difficulties encountered in performing the audit, which you'll find on page 3. We are pleased to report that we did not encounter any difficulties in performing and completing our audit. However, as Kim did mention before, there was a delay due to the delay by Frio County Tax Office in response to some inquiries that we have. The second one is audit adjustments. There were various audit adjustments required to be made to the financial statement account balances to ensure that they were fairly stated at August 31st, 2024. Management has stated that all of the required audit adjustments have been posted and were accepted by management.
They're included in the audit report you have, those adjustments are in there.
Yes. Number 3, there was no disagreements with management, and I would like to thank Lisa as well and her staff for all their help. Number 4 is the internal control and other matters, where we have reported 5 comments, 3 of which are prior year comments, and 2 being current year comments. A through C were prior year comments that were repeated in the current year. A being property taxes, where we are recommending strengthening internal controls, but we are recording taxes revenue allocations. B is the bank reconciliations, where unreconciled differences were noted in the bank reconciliation. C being the accuracy of data in Ascender in the payroll system, and we're recommending a review of that data that's in Ascender for accuracy. D and E are the current year comments, where D being stipends, where we're recommending additional information be added to the compensation plan, and E being contracts, where 2 contracts were not provided, so we're recommending a quality review on the employee personnel files. Number 5 is the federal requirement matters, which you'll find on page 6 of the audit communication letter. And that one is related to Title I Part A earmarking requirement. And we are recommending strengthening internal control over monitoring spending that's required to be earmarked. Management is in agreement with all of our recommendations and has already provided management's responses, which you will find within the audit communication letter. Their responses include on how they will be implementing our recommendations. And that is all I have for you, unless you have any additional questions.
Can you repeat the one on the contracts?
For the contracts, 2 contracts, 2 of the 25 payroll transactions that we tested, 2 were employees that required contracts, so teachers or principals, and we were not provided with the 2 contracts.
Meaning that they couldn't be located?
Yes.
So what are y'all gonna do? Are they retrieving that for you, or?
Well, the audit has, we've completed the audit, so since it was 2 out of 25, we didn't look at it any further because we're hoping that maybe those were isolated incidents. So as Cheryl indicated, what we're recommending is that they go do a quality review of all their personnel files to ensure that all required documentation is included in those personnel files. And as Cheryl indicated before, like 3 of those comments are from prior years. So to get to your point, like what are we gonna do? We'll just come back next year, and when we do our testing, we'll determine if it's a repeat comment, if it's cleared, just based on what we find when we perform the audit. Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions? Being there are no questions, do I have a motion to approve the auditor's financial presentation for year 23-24 district audit?
I motion to approve as presented.
I have a second.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Ms. Adrian Ramirez, seconded by Mr. Orlando Gondeta, to approve the auditor's financial presentation of 23-24 district audit as presented. All in favor? Unanimous. Motion carries.
Thank you. Appreciate your oversight.
Next we'll go to item B. Consider possible action on entering into an agreement with Frio County Elections Office for the Pearsall ISD trustee election on May 3rd, 2025.
This, page 66 of the board book. And is a recommendation to ask the board to continue to contract with Frio County, the election department, to help with the forthcoming school board election in May.
Questions or comments? If not, do I have a motion to approve?
I have a question, Mr. Martin. So a big thing in the last election was not having a Saturday. If we're at voting day, the last Saturday, is that part of this as far as schedules of voting days or not?
I don't think so.
No?
I think you said it just that.
Okay.
This is just them taking care of the process.
Right.
Okay. Good question, sir. Okay, so do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to, into agreement with Rio County Elections Office for the Pierce ISD trustee election on May 3rd, 2025.
Second.
I'll second.
So I have a motion by Mr. Langton, seconded by Mr. Becker Vilar, to enter into agreement with the Frio County Elections Office for the Pearsall ISD trustee election on May 3rd, 2025. All in favor? Unanimous. Motion carries. Next, we'll go to item C. Consider and possible action to order a board trustee election to be held on May 3rd, 2025. That one is on.
Page 66. This election would be for positions number 5 and number 6. And these are for 3-year term seats.
Yes. Right.
I move to approve the order of election as presented and that an election be held on Saturday, May 3rd, 2025 for the purpose of electing a school board trustee to fill these expired positions, which is position number 5 and number 6. These are 3-year terms.
I second.
I have a motion by Ms. Adrian Ramirez, seconded by Ms. Mari Benavides to approve the order school board election of May 3rd, 2025 as presented. All in favor? Unanimous. Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we will go to item D. Consider and possible action on the appointment of early voting clerk and election judges.
That's on page 68. We're recommending the following individuals be recommended to help serve, to oversee the election. We have Jesus Cuevas, the early voting clerk. We have Raquel Mendez, the judge, election day judge. And we also have a judge at Moore Community Center by the name of John. We're currently also looking for another alternative judge right now. We're trying to make phone calls and trying to find people typically to help support this election in the district we have. So we can name that person as an alternate judge.
Will we have to come back at a later meeting to accept that position?
I'll say yes.
I would say it would probably be like an addendum to that.
Right.
I would
You are
like to.
correct.
So make sure.
Yes. Yes.
So do we put that in the motion?
Mhm.
Let's see.
You don't have to state that, you just gotta state that, that would be just another communication in another meeting, just stating that we're gonna be, adding an addendum to add that judge, okay? All right, so do I have a motion?
I motion to approve appointment of early voting and election day judges as presented.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion by Ms. Adrian Ramirez, seconded by Mr. Lionel Gandara to approve the appointment of early voting clerk and election judges as presented. All in favor? Unanimous. Motion carries. Next, we move to item E. Consider and possible action action to select date to canvass board trustee election return.
So the first day of campus elections is May 6th. The last day is actually Wednesday, May 14th. The next regular scheduled board meeting in May would be the 21st. So really, the possible recommendation would be May 14th. To actually have it on that Wednesday to canvas the election.
So that would be a special meeting for that, or what?
We could move the regular meeting to that
To
date.
that date? That'd be fine. Does everybody understand that? Yes, sir. Okay. Anybody have any other questions on that? If not, do I have a motion to approve the date to canvass the election results?
I motion to approve the date to canvass election results as presented.
I have a motion by Ms. Adrian Ramirez, seconded by Ms. Mari Benavides, to approve the date to canvass the election results as presented. All in favor? Unanimous, motion carries. And that date is May 14th, as presented. Next, we'll go to item F, discuss, consider, and approve the Dance Team Nationals out-of-state trip.
Page 70, we're just asking the Pierce Arlington School Board of Trustees to approve the PHS dance team to compete in nationals in Florida. The dates are February the 14th to 16th, and according to a policy, the board has to approve overnight trips.
Question?
Is this the first one?
They went last year.
Second time.
Yeah, they went last year. So do I have a motion to approve the Dance Team Nationals out-of-state trip as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second. I have a motion by Ms. Mari Benavides, seconded by Mr. Orlando Gandara to approve the Dance Team National out-of-state trip as presented. All in favor? Unanimous. Motion carries. Next, we will move to item G. Discuss, consider, and approve donations. Ma'am, you have the floor.
Thank you. This time, we'd like to request to accept and approve the following donations: $425 from Poco Sueño Cattle Company to the Pearsall High School cheerleaders, $162 donation from Kona Ice to the Pearsall Junior High cheerleaders, and $500 from Linebarger and Associates, and I believe that's for the FFA.
Any questions? If not, do I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve, the donations as presented.
I have a motion by Mr. Lionel Gandara, seconded by Mr. Matthew Aguilar to approve the donations as presented. All in favor? Unanimous. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, we'll move on to item H, discuss, consider, and approve bid for the TFE parking lot repaving project. Dr. Rodriguez.
Yes, sir. That's on page 73 of the book. So Pierce Arlington solicited bids to repay the parking lot. And so we all have the bids that were submitted, and then we have an amount, a company, and therefore we actually are recommending a company with A-Rays Construction to do the parking lot, that redo the parking lot.
Questions or comments?
Just to repay, right? The,
They're actually gonna regrade the whole thing, and we're gonna put concrete in the middle where the water normally runs, and do it the correct way.
what about lighting?
That would be, that's a separate deal, but that's something, yeah, we can work on that too. But, so the recommendation for item H is for A-Rays Construction.
It looks like, looks like the whole, both, the two, A-Rays Construction and MYGA have basically identical as was requested, for all the detailed work, so it's pretty identical on what they agreed to on the price, so. One's $378,990 versus $292, so.
All right, so do I have a motion to approve the TFE parking lot repaving project as presented?
I motion to approve the TFE
parking lot repaving project as presented.
Second. Oh, I have a motion by Ms. Edgar Ramirez, second by Mr. Lodi Rodriguez, to approve the CFP parking lot repaving project as presented. All in favor? And I will abstain. Okay, next we will move to item 10, the superintendent report and updates. Dr. Rodriguez.
Yes, sir. On page 77, we have the current list of students that we have active in the district, from our district level to the 00 campus, 001 high school, to the 041 junior high, to the 104, 103, 104B, TFE, 103B intermediate school. And it's broken down by enrollment, by different special programs, especially at DT bilingual, emerging bilingual, Taiwan. We have the information for your review on page 77. As far as other updates, I just will share some dates with y'all. If you don't mind, January 17th, this is considered a student teacher holiday, Friday. We have Martin Luther King Day on the 20th, holiday, Monday, January 20th. We have January 22nd to the 25th, is the Phil County Junior High Talk Show. February 7th, scheduled as staff planning PD Day, work day. February 14th will be another student teacher holiday, followed by President's Day on February 17th, President's Day. I would also like to mention that the traffic study, I just contacted the audit engineer. Actually, I talked to him Monday or Tuesday, and it'll be done in 2 weeks. I think they're finalizing a report, which will be shared with TxDOT, and then will be shared with the board regarding the traffic study that was done by the high school area. Hopefully that will be submitted, he said, within 2 weeks. The roofing projects that were approved are set to begin, I believe, tomorrow. Followed by the gym for course being renovated in February. The camping marquees also have been ordered. They're going to arrive early February, and will be, the goal aims to be to complete that project by end of February as well. So those are all projects that are moving forward as well. And hopefully will be done sooner than later.
On the traffic check stuff, is there a meeting or?
There will be a meeting afterwards, right when this information from the company that was contracted to do the audit, right? They're gonna share this information with TxDOT, and TxDOT will call a meeting. As soon as they call a meeting, I'll send that message to see what the bunch of big.
Anything else, Doctor? Question?
Yes, I'm glad you brought up all those updates. I know it's been somewhat to me lingering in a sense, but on some of those projects that we've already approved a while back. But anyway, the only concern that I have, and we could possibly answer it, I know Mr. Garza discussed it about the fencing project at the football field. Concern is the track. Can they still move forward, and complete the track? Right now, we're right around the corner of the tracks even. And, can they complete it without having to do the wall?
So I spoke to the engineer from Hillis, Lady Joanne, and I spoke to her because actually was wanting a recommendation for a structural engineer to work. And she knows what we're trying to do, to try to keep try to make it a major improvement to that anyway, because anyway, been shambles forever. And so, they also have the expertise to get it done as well, while they're doing this as well, so that's also considering that piece. However, I contacted our project manager that had been working with us during the bond, and he recommended a structural engineer that will be coming in 2 days. Because we got information from the city, from the recommendations, and we're not sure that that information is correct. Right? So we want to make sure that the information that was shared to the entity that's recommending an engineer, that it matches what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do is, out of the alleyway, we're trying to put a wall along that alleyway, so that when it rains, the soil doesn't erode from the track area, underneath the track, and will come out. And so there's already work that's been done years ago, maybe it was the first time the track was first presented to be done. And there was like concrete that was already laid out sort of like as a retaining wall, but it's only a small area. And we're recommending that more area be done, a substantial amount, just to protect the whole area. And so we'll see how it flies, we go, and if it doesn't go as well, we may have to get back with Hellas and Joanne and say, okay, can you give us a proposal, how your structural engineers, because that's what they do as well, what do they do this as well. And so they do it, and she let me know that they do deliver. So she's aware of what we're trying to do, and they have a 4-week window to try to get everything done as well.
So you said they're coming down in about 2 days, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's a project. So we
Yes.
have more information then.
Yes.
And all that happened because originally, everything got lifted up to build the whole track and stuff.
Right by the alleyway, right there in the alleyway area, right where there's a creek bed.
Yeah.
It goes along that area all the way towards Sonic.
Your elevation changes there are very substantial.
Yeah, 'cause I remember when they first built it, that thing was,
Yeah, so, that requires engineering. That's why they're looking at the retaining wall, but the problem you're having right now is the property line. So that's where the structural engineers,
Yeah.
it's got the
Property
structural
line.
engineers come into play.
Yes, property line, the fence, you got the little drainage there, and then you had the trees that were holding it up. You got piping coming out to the alleyway, so.
Any other questions for Doctor? No? All right. It is now 8:55 PM, and the Pearsall ISD Board of Trustees will convene in closed meeting as authorized by Section 551.01 of the Texas Government Code, Open Meetings Act, under the following provision: 551.074. Item A, pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.074, discuss and consider the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duty, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, or to hear complaints or charges against a public officer or employee. And item B, pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.074, review and consider taking action regarding the superintendent evaluation, contract, consideration, and compensation. now 10:23 PM and the Pearsall Board of Directors goes back into open session. On item A, Dr. 12A, do you have any items?
Yes, so we have three recommendations for employment positions. We have a recommendation Angie Rivers for a high school art position. And we have Ann Canales for special ed behavioral action unit at the DAP, the campus. She is certified. And we have an individual by the name of Jonathan Martinez who's being recommended for a district police officer position.
So do I have a motion to approve the three individuals as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve the three individuals as presented.
I have a motion by Mr. Lionel Gandara, seconded by Ms. Mari Benavides, to approve the two hires as presented. All in favor? Unanimous. Motion carries. Next, I will move on to item 12B, and this is to take the board may take appropriate action regarding the evaluation contract, consideration, and compensation of the superintendent. And I think we have a motion.
Yes. I move that the board authorize legal counsel and board president to proceed as discussed in closed meeting.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion by Ms. Adrian Ramirez, seconded by Mr. Lionel Bandera, to move forward as discussion, closed session, to authorize the board president and legal counsel to move forward. All in favor? Unanimous. Motion carries. Doctor, do you have any other business?
No, sir, that's.
Being that we have no other business, it is now 10:25 PM and this meeting is adjourned.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, so I have a motion by Lionel, do I have a second? Second. I have a motion by Lionel, seconded by Mari to adjourn. All in favor?